Paul, which means horn. Young brother. United States Registry. Went to Isupk Sabbath. What's your first name? So you're gonna say Israel bun your tribe of Judah, right? Israel bun Yahawada bun Yasha'al. Say that now, Isupk Sabbath. Israel bun Yahawada bun Yasha'al. Which means Israel's son, Judah's son, Israel. Yahawada bun Yasha'al. Israel. Start with your first name. Israel. Bun. Means son of Yahawada. Bun Yasha'al. Israel.
Israel. Bun Yahawada. One.
Yasha'al. Israel bun Yahawada bun Yasha'al. Now, to Brock, say salute. How about Shem Yahweh? How about Shem Yahweh? Perhaps don't say it. Yayin, which is wine. Turn HD. Extend that. Extend. Say La Yasha Allah, which means to Israel.
Yah Yasha'al,
Which means to Israel.
which means to Israel.
Paul, which means horn. I mud him in the room. So Hanya, which means stand, turn, and face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakaka. Taba'ah. Ratazaka. Hayah. Aisha. Baratiza. Hawa. Hayah. Bashemayim. Nathanael. Acham. Kaliwan. Wasalafano. Kawafno. Kasalafno. Kawafino. Wala'ah. Tabayano. Manasai one. Above. Hawashinu. Mayan. Ra. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Wa'ala. Wahataparat. La'avilumyum. Amen. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Prayer for the power in Salah. The prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Salah. Barakano. Wayasha'ala. Wahavaya Sapari. Barak. Ba'ashim Yahushua. The water Amun. In the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Bless us. And Israel. And the school. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. I had to rearrange it, so I started with that one. I finished it. The blessing in the Hebrew. Rakata Yahweh. Wa Yahushua. Wa Mayak Allah. Wa Alahai. Matizabi Ah. Alawab Yahana. Alawafi. Hasaruni. Hafatazayani. Hakayali. Wahakwafi. Yahweh. Ba'ashim Yahushua. Water Amun. In the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushua. And Michael. And the angels. Commander General Yohana. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. The sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. The prayer for the prophesied curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh. King of heaven and earth. And all things living. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Listen to us now. Right now. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. That speak against us. Thy prophets. The teachers. The princes. The priests. The Israelite brothers. And the school. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the heathen. And shake loose. The treasure of the rich of Israel. They refuse to give to the school. Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary. Send evils and curses. And punishment and destruction. To the Edomites. And the nations. And their drug dealers. The court system. The prison system. Planned Parenthood. All the governments of our enemies. Amalek synagogues and armies. The Roman Catholic Church. The Pope. Islam. Christianity. Egyptology. Militia. Ku Klux Klan. Aryan Nation. Skinheads. Posse Comitatus. The gay movement. The lesbian movement. Spies. Workers of witchcraft. NASA space program. The Army. Navy. Air Force. Marines. Wall Street. Open up the internet. And the airwaves. Cable access channels. And the radio channels. Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us. And bring swift destruction to all the heathen that stand in the way. Or try to stop us from broadcasting your word throughout the planet Earth. Let loose all the plagues. Cause them to go to and fro. Through the earth. And consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief. And the murderer. Let Yahushua. Michael and Gabriel come down with flying saucers and punish all the heathen that come up against us as we speak thy word. Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that have done it. Cause it to be spread through the media. Throughout the whole world. Cause them to shake at thy coming. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you always. So be it. Sorry, face the front. Yeshabim, which means be seated. And so we're right back here in the last few weeks, couple of months of this Sabbath service. At this point, we've been rocking out in the story of Joseph, going through so much. His life has been a movie to this point. We've been through Joseph, his brothers hating him, beating him up and leaving him in a ditch to be sold into slavery, to end up in Egypt, to end up in a high position in Egypt, to be framed by the man who he worked for, his wife, end up in prison, interpreted dreams for two men he was in prison with. One of them was restored to his position but forgot about Joseph. But then, fast forward a few years, when Pharaoh needed a dream interpreted, he remembered Joseph. Joseph came, interpreted his dream, and gave so much wisdom because the Most High was with him that Pharaoh set him up over all of Egypt, gave him control over everything. And at that point, he saved Egypt from the coming famine. When there was a famine, his family came to Egypt for food, didn't know him, didn't recognize him, and he started doing the most, sending them back. He had them get caught up with his chalice in his bag, and now finally he brought them in, revealed himself, had them go back and get their father Jacob, brought everybody back, set them up on the fat of the land, and that's where we're at in Genesis, the 47th chapter and the 8th verse. Have you read the Hebrew?
I have.
Follow along right. You're just gonna follow along right here. We're in Genesis 47th chapter and the 8th verse. Wayamar per ayah al Yaiqab Kama Yum Yeshanya Chayayika, verse 9. Wayamar Yaiqab al per ayah Yum Yeshanya Magawarya Shalashim Wama'ath Shana Ma'ait Warayim Haywa Yum Yeshanya, verse 10. Wayabarak Yaiqab al per ayah Wayataza Malapunya per ayah, verse 11. Wayashab Yosap Ath Abua Wa'ath Achua Wayathun Lahum Achazah Ba'arataza Matazarium Ba'mayatab Harataza Ba'arataza Ra'aymusas Ka'ashar Tazawa per ayah, verse 12. Wa'akal Yosap Ath Abua Wa'ath Achua Wa'ath Kal Bayath Abua Wachum Lapia Hatap, verse 13. Wachum Ayun Bakal Harataza Kaya Kabad Hara'ad Ma'ad Wathala Arataza Matazarium Wa'arataza Kana'ain Mapunya Hara'ad, verse 14. Wailaquat Yosap Athkal Hakasap Hanamataza Barataza Matazarium or Barataza Kana'ain Bashabar Ashar Hum Shabarium Waiba'a Yosap Ath Hakasap Bayatha per ayah. And so now we're going to go back to English. You can go ahead and read it in English from verse 8.
Genesis
47, verse 8.
Genesis 47, verse 8. And Pharaoh said unto Jacob, how old art thou? 9. And Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years.
So at this point now, Joseph has brought his father before Pharaoh. He's letting Pharaoh know, this is my family. Remember, Pharaoh had so much respect, interpretation of the dream, and basically saved Egypt that, he brings his family in. Pharaoh's like, yeah, bring them all in, set them up, make them comfortable. He's ready to show them love. Keep going.
Few and evil have the days of the years of my life been, and have not attained unto the days of the years of the life of my fathers in the days of their pilgrimage.
So now Jacob said, first of all, few and evil have the days of the years of my life been. Jacob been through a lot. Jacob went through a lot. Remember, he thought Joseph was dead until about, a week before this part that we're reading right here. He thought his youngest son was dead for the longest. And he'd been all over the place, but he mentioned that he has not attained to the days of the years of life of his fathers. So remember, his fathers and their fathers lived much longer than 130 years. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before Pharaoh.
And so Jacob gave him the blessing because they were showing mutual respect. You know, and that's how it should have been. But of course, we're going to see in the next part of the story how the Egyptians treated us as soon as this Pharaoh was dead. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And Joseph placed his father and his brethren and gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the best of the land, in the land of Ramses, as Pharaoh had commanded.
So Pharaoh gave him the green light, and Joseph found the best of the land that he could find, set his family up. Go ahead.
Verse 12. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and all his father's household with bread according to their families.
Remember in the last chapter where we left off last week, when they sent back to get Jacob, they sent all of Pharaoh's best wagons. They said, bring everything. They were coming to live here in Egypt. Go on.
Verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, as the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine.
So that's why I said that Joseph nourished them with bread. He made sure that they had food before anybody else. Because remember, Joseph was in charge of all the storehouses, where during the 7 years of prosperity, they stored up food for all the land around them. And now in these 7 years of famine, Joseph was in control of all the food. Keep going.
Verse 14. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house.
Remember, Joseph was overseeing everything. Go ahead.
Verse 15.
Oh, no, back to actually, I imagine him up here. Stand up there for a second. Trooper Shah one. I might have spot. Stage your right.
Sha'athwan, Ban, Parim, Ban, Yasharala.
You say it with Sha'athwan, Banaparium, Ban Yasha'al.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shadrach.
Say it again.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shadrach.
He says it to us, and then we say it together.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shadrach.
Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shadrach. Sit down. That's an excellent job of the young man.
For what, sir?
Shopping, yeah. I'm gonna take from Hebrew verse 15.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 15. Wayatham, Akasab, Ma'arataza, Matazaria, Wa Ma'arataza, Kana'ain, Wayabawa, Kal, Matazaria, Al, Yawasa, Lamar, Haba, Lanawa, Lakam, Walama, Namawath, Nagadaka, Kaya, Apas, Kasa. Verse 16. Waya Amar, Yawasa, Habawa, Makwan Yakam, Wakana, Lakam, Bamakwan Yakam, Am, Apas, Kasa. Verse 17. Wayab Ya'awa, Aquan Yaham, Al, Yawasa, Wayathan, Laham, Yawasa, Lakam, Basawasya, Wapamawak, Na, Hatazaan, Wabamak, Na, Habakwar, Wabakwamar, Yam, Waya, Naha, Lam, Balakam, Bakal, Makwana, Wakanam, Washana, Ha-Hawa. Verse 18. Wathatham, Hashana, Hawa, Wayabawa, Ayawa, Bashana, Ashan Ya, Wayamarwa, La'a, Nakakat, Madanya, Kaya, Am, Tham, Akasa, Malkwana, Habama, Al, Adanya, La'a, Nasha'ar, Lapanya, Adanya, Balathya, Am, Gawayath Nawa, Wa Adam Mathan Wa. Verse 19. Lama, Namawath, La'ayan Yaka, Gam, Ankanwa, Gam, Adamath Nawa, Kwana, Athanwa, Wa, Adam Math Nawa, Alakam, Aya, Anakanwa, Wa Adamath Nawa, Ibadya, Lapariah, Wathan, Sarai, Wanak, Ya, Wala'a, Namawa, Wahadama, La'a, Lasham. Verse 20. Wayakwan, Yawasa, Kal, Adama, Latazaria, La Para'ai, Kaya, Lakarwa, Latazaria, Ayash, Sharawa, Kaya, Kazak, Ilaham, Ara'ai, Wathaya, Ha'arataza, La Para'ai. Verse 21. Wa'ah, Ha'ain, Ha'aib Athwa, La'aryam, Makwataza, Gabawal, Matazaria, Wa'aid, Kwatazawa. Verse 22.
Back to the English.
Genesis chapter 47, verse
15.
Verse 15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth.
So now, not only are they out of food in Egypt, but they're running out of money to buy the food that Joseph had stored up. And now the people are getting upset. The people are starting to revolt. You always got to like take these words and picture it vividly. People are mad, they're broke, and they're hungry. People are really, this is a situation. And they're coming to Joseph demanding the food. They said, we're done paying you. We don't have any more money to pay you. We need food. We're not just going to die. Read.
Verse 16. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle, if money fail.
So Joseph handled the situation. He quelled the situation. He said, look, you got cattle, right? Give me your cattle. You can trade that, and I'll give you some food. And people started, keep on.
Verse 17. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year.
So now Joseph set up the barter system. He said, all right, I guess y'all ran out of money. Well, what do you have? They had cattle, they had flocks, they had something to trade. And so Joseph traded what they had and gave them food. Keep going.
Verse 18. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands.
So now, by the end of that year, Joseph had all their money and all their cattle and all their flocks and whatever they had. And so now they're coming back and they're like, look, our money's gone. You got our cattle. We don't have anything left but our bodies and our lands. Keep going. Now these are people from all around the land. Remember, Joseph got his family set up and taken care of. He got them all the bread they need. He got them all the animals they need. They're chilling. Read.
Verse 19. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land, both us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed, that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate.
So at this point, they're begging Joseph. They're saying, look, we're about to die if you don't do something. Just buy us and our land. They offered themselves up and their land. Read.
Verse 20. And Joseph brought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, for the Egyptians sold every man his field, because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's.
So Joseph was a businessman. Joseph had the solution for every issue. And now he not only has control of all the food, he got all the cattle in Egypt, brought it back. He got all the land now. Every man, the Egyptians sold every man his field because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's. Read.
Verse 21. And as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end of the borders of Egypt, even to the other end thereof.
So now Joseph has control of all the people. So now he told them where to go. Remember, he's setting this all up, to make things work for the benefit of the land. So he said, we need y'all over here. We need y'all over here. And now Joseph literally has control over everything and everyone in Egypt. And we're going to go back to the Hebrew. Verse 22. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 22. Rock, Adamath, Akaanyam, La'ah, Panah, Kaya, Kak, Lakaanyam, Ma'ah, Paraiah, La'akawa, Ah, Kakwam, Ashar, Nathan, Laham, Paraiah, Il, Khan, La'ah, Bakarwa, Ah, Adamatham. Verse 23. Waya Amar, Yawasa, Al, Ha'ain, Han, Quanyatha, Athkam, Hayawam, Wa'ath, Adamathkam, La Paraiah, Ha'ath, Lakam, Sarai, Wazarai Thum, Ath, Ha'adamath, Ha'adamath. Verse 24. Wahaya, Bathaba, Wa'ath, Wanath, Thum, Kam, Yash, Yath, La Paraiah, Wa Arabai, Hayadath, Ya, Lakam, Lazarai, Hashadah, Wala Akalkam, Wala Ashar, Babath Yakam, Wala Akal, Latapakam. Verse 25. Wayamarwa, Hakaya Thanawa, Namataza'a, Khan, Ba'ayan Adanya, Lahayayanwa, Ibadya, La Paraiah. Verse 26. Wayasham, Atha'a, Yawasa, Lakak, Id, Hayawam, Haza'a, Ayel, Arama, Latazarium, La Paraiah, La Kamash, Rock, Adamath, Haka'an Yam, La Badam, La At, Hayatha, La Paraiah. Verse 27. Wayashab, Yasharala, Ba'arataza, Batazaria, Ba'arataza, Gashan, Waya'aka Zawa, Ba'a, Wayaparawa, Wayarabwa, Ma'at. Verse 28. Wayakaya, Yaikwa, Ba'arataza, Batazaria, Shabai, Aishara, Shana, Wayahaya, Yamya, Ya'ikwa, Shanya, Kaya Yawa, Shabai, Shanyam, Wa Arabaya, Wa Ma'a, Shana.
Back to English.
On count.
28.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 22. Only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned to them of Pharaoh, and did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them. Wherefore they sold not their lands.
So just, out of respect for whatever they did, Joseph left the priests alone. Keep going.
Verse 23. Then Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day, and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land.
So now Joseph owns the people and the land. So he said, all right, here's some seed. Go ahead and just go ahead and plant these seeds for me and start working these fields. Joseph took control of everything in Egypt. Keep going.
Verse 24.
This is what happens when the Lord is with you. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own, for seed of the field, for your food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones.
So the 5th part, me and Joseph said, 20% of this, whatever y'all grow, you giving it right back. You sending it right back to my storehouses, and the rest you can keep, for your household and whatever. Read.
Verse 25. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants.
You got a question, sis? Yeah, but Joseph doubled that. He said 20% you're going to give back. In a sense, he was being generous because at this point, he owned them and the land. He could have told them to send all their food and keep 10% for yourself. Don't make that, stretch that out for the whole year. But he just said, send 20% back to us, keep the rest. Go ahead.
Verse 26. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the 5th part, except the land of the priests only, which became not Pharaoh.
Which means they kept that rule long after Joseph of taking 20% basically tax out of everybody in the land except the priests. They would take 20%, which is harsh. The Lord only asked for 10%. It ain't that much. It really is not that much, considering the way some of these other empires tax their people. You see, they demanded 20% from everybody. Now, if you're poor in Egypt, that hits you hard. That's a harsh rule right there that they kept for a long time after Joseph. Go ahead.
Verse 27. Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly. Verse 28. And Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. So the whole age of Jacob was 147 years.
So while everyone else in the land of Egypt is struggling so much that they've sold their cattle, their land, and themselves, Israel and his family are posted up on the best of the land, chilling, living good. Because that's what happens when the Lord cares about you and doesn't care about whoever else is around you. The Lord was concerned with one family, the family of Israel, the family of Jacob. The rest of the Egyptians, whatever, they could have a little bit, but they were struggling while Israel was chilling. And that's how it's meant to be. The scripture said that the land was given for us, for our sakes. And that's how it's going to be. Keep going.
Right.
Yes, back to the Hebrew. Verse 29.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 29. Waya Kwarabwa, Yamya, Yasharawa, Lamawa, Waya Kwaraa, Labanwa, Layawasa.
So Wayakora Laban Yawasa. This is talking about Israel getting old and knowing that he's about to die. And he called, which is that word Korah, Wayakora Laban, his son Joseph. Keep going.
Waya Amar, Lawa.
And he said to him, Waya Amar Lawa. Go ahead.
Na'a, Matazaafya, Khan, Ba'ayan Yaka, Shayam, Na'a, Yadka, Vakaf, Yarakaya, Wa'aish Yath, Imadya, Kasad, Wa'ama, Al, Na'a, Bakwabar, Ranya, Ba Batazarya. Verse 30. Washa Kabathya, Ain, Abathya, Wanasha no ya, Mamatars yam, Wa Kwabarath Nawa, Ba Kwabarathya, Wa Amar, Waya Amar, Anakya, A Aisha, Kadabarka. Verse 31. Waya Amar, Hashaba'ai, Laya, Waya Shabai, Lawa, Waya Shabath Kawa, Yasharala, Ayel, Ra'ash, Hamata'ah. Genesis chapter 48, verse 1. Wayahaya, Akarya, Ha-Dabarya, Ha-Allah, Waya Amar, La Yawasa, Hana, Abayaka, Kala'a, Wayakwak, Ah, Shanya, Banyawa, Aimwa, Ah, Manasha, Wa'a, Aparya. Verse 2. Wayagad, La Ya'ikwa, Waya Amar, Hana, Banaka, Yawasa, Ba'a, Al-Yaka, Waya Bakazak, Yasha'al, Wayashab, Ayel, Mamata. Verse 3. Waya Amar, Ya'ikwa, Al, Yawasa, Al, Shadya, Nara'a, Al-Ya, Balawaz.
That Al-Shaddai, that's what Christians love to say, El Shaddai. That's Al-Shaddai, which is the almighty power. Keep on.
Ba'arataza, Kana'ain, Wayabarak, Athya. Verse 4. Waya Amar, Al-Ya, Hananaya, Mapar Rakah, Waharab Yathaka, Wanath Thayaka, La Kwa Hal, Ima Yam, Wanath Ha'arataza, Haza'a, Lazara Aika, Akar Yaka, Ah Kazak, Iwalam. Verse 5.
Back to the English.
Pick
Pick it up from verse 29.
Genesis chapter 47, verse 29. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt.
So now, after this long, crazy life that this brother Jacob has had, just think back. We've gone through it all over the last few months, right? The 14 years that he worked for his wife, the 12 sons that would become 12 tribes that he had from 4 different women, included finally the wife that he loved being allowed to conceive by the Most High in her old age. Going through his travels, striving with the angel, being blessed by the Most High, watching his children strive against each other, believing that he lost his son Joseph, holding on to what he had left. Years later, finally reuniting with Joseph, ended up in Egypt, living as princes. And now the Lord's told him that his children are going to be blessed after him, that they're going to become a great nation. And now he's finally, reaching the end of his life. It's a heavy, heavy thing. Keep going.
Oh God. Verse 29. And the time drew nigh that Israel must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, If now I have found grace in thy sight, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray thee, in Egypt.
Okay, so this was a part of the culture. We've seen this in a couple of other instances where he would swear, go to his father on his bed, on his deathbed, put his hand on his leg and swear to him like that. Keep going.
Verse 30. But I will lie with my fathers, and thou shalt carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as thou hast said.
So now this request is to stress the fact, to make sure that his sons remember the fact that Egypt is not their land. They were there to sojourn. They were there because the Lord brought them there for a reason. But Egypt was not their land. And that's why Jacob is stressing this. Do not bury me in Egypt. Remember that we have a land. This ain't it. Don't get too comfortable here. Read.
Verse 31. And he said, Swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Israel bowed himself upon the bed's head. Genesis chapter 48, verse 1. And it came to pass after these things, that one told Joseph, Behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim.
Now his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, which were going to become 2 tribes of their own. Keep going.
Verse 2. And one told Jacob and said, Behold, thy son Joseph come unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed.
So now after he called for Joseph, Joseph is on his way. You can picture Israel in his old age. He's he knows he's getting near death, but he heard his son is almost there. He got up, his energy picked up. He said, All right, keep going.
Verse 3. And Jacob said unto Joseph, God Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. Verse 4. And said unto me, Behold, I will make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession.
And back to the Hebrew.
Genesis chapter 48, verse 5. Wa aitha shanya banyaka hana waladyam laka ba'aratasa.
So that word hanawaladyum is a long word, but when we talk about it in Hebrew, you always just build up a vocabulary of root words that you learn to recognize. These 2 or 3 letter root words are the basis of every word you'll see. So this word is based on yalad, which is to beget. And that's the basis of anything that'll have to do with birth or being born or bearing children will be that word yalad. Keep going.
Ba'aratasa matazarya.
Now we've heard this phrase a lot. Ba'aratazah matazarium. That's in the land, in Aratazah, in the land of Egypt. Keep going.
Id Baya Al Yakah Matazar Yama'a Laya Ham Aparyam Wa Manasha, Karawaban, Wa Shama'ai one, Yawa.
So now he's running down various sons, and of course, these sons are all the progenitors of the tribes: Aparim, which is Ephraim; Manasseh, which is Manasseh; Ra'alban, which is Reuben; Shemaiah, which is Simeon. Keep going.
Karawakan. Laya. 6. Wa Mawaladaka. Ashar. Hawaladah.
So again, two words based off that same word, Yalad, which is beget. Wa Mawaladathka and Hawaladath. Keep going.
Karawakan. Lakar Yaham. Lakah. Yayawa. Il. Sham. Akyaham. Yakparawa. Banakal Latham. Verse 7. Wa Anya. Babaya. Ma Padan. Matha'a. Alya. Rakal. Ba'arataza. Kana'aim. Badaraka. Ba'awad. Kabara. Arataza. Laba'a. Paratha. Wa Aqua Bara'a. Sham. Badaraka. Parath. Hawa'a. Waya. Lakam.
And that Bayath will come. Is that might be the first time you see the word Bethlehem in the scriptures. Bayath will come, which is the house of bread. Keep going.
Makam. Verse 8. Wayara'a. Yasha'ala. Banya. Yawasa. Waya Amar. Maya. Allah. Verse 9. Waya Amar. Yawasa. Al. Abayawa. Banya. Ham. Ashar. Nathan. Laya. Alahayam. Baza'ah. Waya Amar. Kwakwam. Na'a. Alya. Wa Abarkam. Verse 10. Wa'ib Yanya.
That Wa'ayunya, which is your ayun is your eyes. So Wa'ayunyas and the eyes. Keep going.
Karawakan. Wa'ayanya. Yasha'ala. Kabadwa. Mazakwan. La'a.
So Wa'ayunya Yasha'ala, that's Israel's name. Kabadwa Mazakwan, we're dim with age. The Kwan is how you say age, elder, old age. Keep going.
Karawakan. Yawakal. La Rawa. Wayagash. Atham. Al Yawa. Wayashak. Laham. Wayakobak. Laham. Verse 11. Waya Amar. Yasha'ala. Al. Yawasa. Ra'a. Panyaka. La'a. Paulathya. Wahana. Hara'a. Athya. Alahaya. Gam. Saraka.
I am Gum Ath Zariah, which is Israel saying that earlier in the scripture, he said, I didn't even think I was going to see your face again, talking to Joseph. And now he's saying that the Most High also showed me Zariah, which is your seed, your offspring. And back to the English, verse 5.
Genesis 48, verse 5. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt, before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine, as Reuben and Simeon. They shall be mine. Verse 6. And thy issue, which thou begettest after them, shall be thine, and shall be called after the name of their brethren in their inheritance. Verse 7. And as for me, when I came from Padan, Rachel died by me in the land of Canaan in the way, when yet there was but a little way to come unto Ephrath.
So that's heavy. Just real quick, just to not pass over that. That's heavy when Jacob said, your two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, they're mine. Just like Reuben and Simeon, just like your brothers, they're mine. Your issue, whichever other children you have after them, they'll be yours. But your two sons are mine. And that's heavy because as we go down the line, one of these tribes, Dan, is going to be absorbed into the rest of the tribes. And these two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, are going to represent their own tribes in the end times today. Keep going.
And I buried her there in the way of Ephrath. The same is Bethlehem. Verse 8. And Israel beheld Joseph's sons and said, who are these? Verse 9. And Joseph said unto his father, they are my sons, whom God hath given me in this place. And he said, bring them, I pray thee, unto me, and I will bless them. Verse 10. Now the eyes of Israel were dim for age, so that he could not see.
He's 147 years old at this point. Keep going.
And he brought them near unto him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Verse 11. And Israel said unto Joseph, I had not thought to see thy face, and lo, the Most High has showed me also thy seed.
And that's incredible. That's incredible. He's reflecting back because all these years, these are decades that he thought his son Joseph was dead, had been tore up by animals, and left dead in a pit. He thought he would never see his son again. And now, not only did he see him rule in Egypt, he saw his children. Back to the verse 12.
Genesis chapter 48, verse 12. Wayawataza'ah, Yawasa, Atham, Matazam, Barak Yawah, Waya Shathakwa, La La'ap Yawah, Aratazah. Verse 13.
Which is that same word that we've been seeing earlier, Aratazah, in the context of Aratazah Matazarium, the land of Egypt, the land of various. This is the word for land, whether it's a specific land like the land of Egypt, or it can be the actual physical earth beneath you. Keep going.
Wayakwak, Yawasa, Af, Shanyaham, Af, Aparyam, Bayam Yanawa, Mashamal, Yasharala, Wa'af, Manashah, Bashamalwa, Mayan, Yasha'ala, Wayagash, Al Yawa. Verse 14. Wayashalah, Yasha'ala, Yam Yanwa, Wayasha, Ayel, Ra'ash, Aparya, Wahawa'a, Ha Taza'ai Yar, Wa'ah, Shama'awa, Il, Ra'ash, Manashah, Shakal, Af, Yadyawa, Kaya, Manashah, Ha Bakawar. Verse 15. Waya Barakah, Ah, Yawasa, Waya Amar, Ha Alaya, Ya, Ashar, Ha Bahal Kawa, Abathya, Lapan Yawa, Abraham, Waya Tazakak, Ha Alahayab, Haraya, Athya, Ma'aiwathya, Salakia, Ma'awadya, Ad, Hayawam, Haza'ah. Verse 16. Hamalak, Hagaal, Athya, Bakal, Ra'ai, Ya Barak, Ah, Anair Yam, Wayakwara'a, Baham, Shamya, Washam, Abathya, Abraham, Wayatazakak, Wayadagwa, Lara, Bakwara, Ha'arataza. Verse 17. Wayara'a, Yawasa, Kaya, Yasha, Abayawa, Yad, Yam Yanwa, Il, Ra'ash, Aparya, Wayara'ai, Ba'ayan Yawa, Wayathamak, Yad, Abayawa, Lahasyar, Atha, Ma'il, Ra'ash, Aparya, Il, Ra'ash, Manashah. Verse 18. Waya Amar, Yawasa, Al, Abayawa, La'a, Khan, Abaya, Kaya, Za'a, Abakar, Shayam, Yam Yanak, Il, Rashwa.
Back to the English, verse 12.
Khan. Genesis chapter 48, verse 12. And Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and he bowed himself with his face to the earth.
And he's bringing his, it's a figure of speech. He's bringing his two sons to his father. Read.
Khan. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim in his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh in his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near unto him. Verse 14. And Israel stretched out his right hand, and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly, for Manasseh was the firstborn.
So now Jacob is about to bless these two children. Remember, he couldn't see his eyes, his sight was getting dim, and he placed his right hand on Ephraim's head and his left hand on Manasseh's head. Read.
Verse 15. And he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the Most High, which fed me all my life, long unto this day. Verse 16. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth.
So he's passing this blessing on to the two sons of Joseph, Ephraim and Manasseh, who are going to become each of them a tribe by these latter days. Read.
Verse 17. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. Verse 18. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head.
So we're going to find out how that turns out. Back to the Hebrew, verse 19.
Genesis chapter 48, verse 19. Waya ma'an, abayawa, waya amar, yada aikya, banya, yada aikya, gam, hawa'a, yaya, la'ain, wagam, hawa'a, agadal, wa'al walam, ak yawa, akwatan, ya gadal, mamanwa, wazara'aiwa, ya, mala, hagawal, yam. Verse 20. Wayabarakam, Wayawam, Ahawa'a, La'amawar, Baka, Yabarak, Yasharala, La'amar, Yashamka, Alahayam, Ka Aparayim, Kamanash, Kamanasha, Wayasham, Aparya, Lapanya, Banasha. Verse 21. Waya Amar, Yasha'ala, Al, Yawasa, Ana, Anakya, Ma, Wahaya, Alahayam, I'm come, Wahashab, Afkam, Al, Arataza, Abath Yakam. Verse 22. Wanya, Na Tathanya, Laka, Shakam, Akkad, Il, Akyaka, Ashar, La Kwakathya, Mayad, Ha Marya, Wa Karabya, Wa Bakwashafya. Genesis 49, verse 1. Wayakwaraa, Ya'ikwa, Al, Banyawa, Waya Amar, Ha Asatwa, Wa'ag Yada'a, Lakam, Ath, Ashar, Yakwara, Bakam, Ba'akar Yath, Hayam Yam. Verse 2. Kwabatazawa, Wa Shama'aiwa, Banya, Ya'ikwa, Wa Shama'aiwa, Al, Yasha'ala, Abayakam. Verse 3. Ra Waban, Bakarya, Atha, Kakwaya, Waraash, Yath, Awanya, Yathar, Sha'ah, Wayathar, Ites.
And back to the English, verse 19.
Got on count.
Stop, y'all. What set is this?
This is the last one.
Genesis chapter 48, verse 19. And his father refused, and he said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great.
So he's talking about he removed his hand from Ephraim's on to put it on Manasseh, who was the firstborn. But Joseph said, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm putting this blessing on Ephraim. Go ahead.
Khan. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he.
Which is Ephraim. Read.
Khan. And his seed shall become a multitude of nations.
And that's simple. As we know that Ephraim's the progenitor of so-called Puerto Ricans, Manasseh is so-called Cubans, and Puerto Ricans are everywhere, man. Puerto Ricans are dominating fields all over the place. Cubans are an incredible group of people, but we know the history of Cuba, they've been restrained more to their land and to their areas. So this was the blessing that was put on Ephraim. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 20. And he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. Verse 21. And Israel said unto Joseph, behold, I die, but the Most High shall be with you, and bring you again unto the land of your fathers.
So that was the conclusion of the blessing of putting Joseph's blessing through his sons. Because if you go to Revelations, the 7th chapter, you can see that Joseph and Manasseh were going to be two different tribes that are listed in the 144,000. So Manasseh is one of Joseph's sons. So when it says Joseph, it's talking about Ephraim, meaning his other son. And Dan, of course, by that point is not listed in the 144,000 because Dan was absorbed into the other tribes. Keep going.
Verse 22. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion above thy brethren, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite, with my sword and with my bow. Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Verse 2. Gather yourselves together, and hear ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father.
So these are going to be the blessings for each of the tribes. Read.
Verse 3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power.
And this is the blessing over the tribe of Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians. We're going to continue through the rest next week. I imagine them up here. Shofar, which means horn. Yeah, yun, which means wine.
Vayasharala, which means to Israel.
Shofar, which means horn. I imagine in the room, which means rise. Sorrow plenty hakadam, which means turn to face the east. Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kadash Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakutah. Taba'ah. Batazak. Hayah. Aisha. Baratza. Kawah. Hayah. Bashemayim. Yathanuno. Lacham. Kaliwan. Wasalachano. Kawafnu. Kasalachnu. Kawafino. Wala'ah. Kabayano. When I say one, a ball, Shinu, Mayun, Ra, Kaya, Bakub, Hamalakwa, Ba'ala, Bahataparat, Ba'alumium, Amun, Our Father,
Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh, thy kingdom come,
Kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
on earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
daily
and
bread.
forgive us our debts
Forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
we forgive our debtors.
Lead us not into temptation,
Lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh. Wa Yahweh Shah. Wa Mayaka Allah. Wa Alahayim. Batizab Ya'ah. Alawak Yahani. Alawak. Asurani. Akwataziyani. Akayayali. Wahak Waki. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Wada Amen. Bless you, Yahweh.
Blessed be Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shah. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yahan.
Commanding General Yahweh.
The generals.
General.
The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it.
The prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh,
Blessed are you, Yahweh,
King of heaven and earth,
King of heaven and
and
earth,
all things living.
and all things living.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shah.
In the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
And evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
Speak against us.
Thy prophets.
The
The teachers.
teachers.
The princes.
Princes.
The priests.
priests,
The Israelite brothers.
the Israelite brothers,
And the school.
and the school.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
Punishment and
To
destruction.
the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose.
Shake loose.
The treasure of the rich of Israel.
Treasure of the rich of Israel.
They refuse to give to the school.
Refuse to get to the school.
Force their riches.
Force their riches.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
Enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
Punishment and destruction.
Punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
The nations.
And their drug dealers. The court system. The prison system.
Prisons.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
The Roman Catholic Church.
The Roman Catholic
The
Church.
Pope.
Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinheads.
Posse Comitatus. The gay movement. The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
The Army.
The Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marines.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airwaves.
The airwaves.
Cable access channels.
Cable access channels.
And the radio channels.
The radio channels.
Convict the spirit
Convict the
of
spirit
any of thy people
of any of thy people
that seek to stop us
seek to stop
and
us.
bring swift destruction
Bring some destruction
to all the heathen
to all the heathen
that stand in the way
stand in the way.
or try to stop us
Try to stop
from
us.
broadcasting your words
All has to work
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues,
Loose all the plagues.
cause them to go to and fro
Cause them to go to and fro.
through the earth
Through the earth.
and consume them. Let the plagues shake the house of the thief
Absolutely.
and the murderer.
And murder.
Let Yahweh Shah,
Yahweh.
Michael and Gabriel
Michael gave.
come down to find sources
Down the flights.
and punish all the heathens
Punish all the heathen.
that come up against us
Come up against us.
as we speak thy words.
Speak back.
Cause it to be known by all
Cause it to be known by all.
that it is the angels that have done
That's
it.
the angels that have done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media
Cause it to be spread through the media.
throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause it to shake
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
the name of Yahweh.
Thank you always.
So-
So be it.
So be it.
Star face the front. Sister be seated. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel. I Majim Shabbat. I Majim Barak. Yajim Matal. Star face the sister. Sister I Majim. We give one courtesy salute to the sister. Men of Israel. I Majim Shabbat. I Majim Barak. Yahweh Shemar. Thumba Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajim Matal. Dismissed.
All right, buddy, we got 30 minutes before we leave, all right?
So it's
So
still
you
live.
brothers are dismissed, okay?
So it's still live.
Since you're dismissed as well.
That's why we still live. Next week, we're gonna start from Genesis
49 verse 3.
49, verse 3, chapter 49, verse 3.